Good day, guys. I hope we are all good. Welcome to our tariff analysis on synthetic indices boom and crash for Tuesday. So let's see what we have today. So I posted in the group V2501S up for discussion. So from my point of view, okay, let's just try to dissect it a little bit, see what we have. So this is the weekly chart. This is the only candles we have on the weekly. So what I see here is liquidity has been triggered here. So price is most likely retracing back up to this zone or anywhere in this area here before they possibly drop, maybe set a new low, a new all-time low before price becomes like bullish. I feel like this is more or less like V75 back in the day when V75 was still new. We'll get phases like this where you have like 3 straight weeks of just bullish move, then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 straight weeks of a bearish move. So if we take out the all-time lows here, I feel like we're going to be setting ourselves up for a huge bullish move, potentially targeting these all-time highs here. So for now, I feel like we are in this retracement. So I would say my bias for now is leaning on buys. Okay, so let's see if the smaller time frames line up with my bias. So this is the daily. You can see the level which is marked on the weekly is coming from this order block here, which was created after this level was broken. So we also do have another order block there, another one there. There are like many order blocks here, but it just depends with your personal view. But from my own point of view, I feel like we are heading up here. The confluence which I also have is the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA being on the same area. That's my other confluence why I'm sort of preferring that zone. So I feel like we are bullish. So let's see H4. H4, I have this zone which you see drawn here. So this is a demand zone which I have, which I feel like it could be respected. But if you zoom in, you actually see that it's more or less like this whole zone is a demand zone. So we start from here, then we include this one, then we look at this one. So this whole range is a place where price can actually come in, form a pattern, then actually start to push up. That's my current view now. So I've got a buy limit here. That's the buy limit which I shared in the group. So it's up for discussion though. If price does something else, we can always readjust and just trade what will be happening at that particular time. But long term, I personally feel like price will drop down all the way here, also giving us an ID50 type setup. So price, we've got a 1350 cross, those who trade BTMM, and you can see these structures have been broken. So price for me is willing to push up, right? So this is a retracement. Early buyers will potentially be taken out if stop losses are here. That's what I'm thinking could potentially happen. Then price will come, interact with the 50, maybe form another pattern here, potentially on a smaller time frame. Then we're going to be taking a safe trade from there, although we do have a buy limit there. So that's my view. Dropping down to H1. So H1 initially, I actually had this zone before I looked at the higher time frame. I was looking at it like this. So I was like, okay, maybe we're actually buying right now. Price will just tap into this area, then actually start to push up, which could also potentially happen. So if let's say that happens, so what we'll do is I'll be looking to re-enter maybe at a higher price. So it could be a trade maybe for tomorrow, but I would love to see today's highs get broken, yesterday's highs get broken, then price potentially coming back to retest on that broken zone before I can consider buying. But I feel like this zone on the bottom is a high probability point of interest. So let's just see how price plays out. So those are my two scenarios for buys. Considering sells, let's see if we can consider a short-term sell. So okay, I'm just looking to the left. We've got this zone here. Price is tapped into that zone. Bit of a pattern forming here. Although it's not so clear, but I think it's always best for this one. For this, I'll specifically wait for buys. As much as I might maybe look for sells, potentially, I would love to wait for a buy. So that's my view on V2501S. It's up for discussion. Those with different views can still share and we can discuss it because it's a setup from a higher time frame. So it will take some time to actually form. So there's still time to discuss and watch how price plays out. So going to C1000, I had a runner earlier. I just closed it. So what I noticed, I was looking at this zone being broken here, and I entered a sell somewhere here. And I was looking for price to actually come back down to this level here, but they didn't. Then I reanalyzed and saw, okay, still we've got an order block at the top here, so they can still react here, or they can extend the high again and then they trace. But overall, it's been a bullish trend for the past few days. It's almost a week actually. We've been strong bullish. But at the same time, you can see yesterday, I think I wanted to short it here. I mentioned this zone, but the setup didn't really play out. Setup didn't play out. The pattern didn't form, so I didn't take it. Let me just cross check on M15. Yeah, you can see here. We're actually short here. I think we scaled in actually because we're still anticipating a sell to drop all the way potentially down here. The setup, we spoke about it yesterday, but price then ended up continuing with the bullish trend, and it took us out. This hit our stop loss. So today, usually if price is in a strong bullish trend, what I would advise is if you get sell trades, like this would have been a good sell. They are short term. So as much as we want, for example, this price to get to the EMA, you can see it didn't, just stop short. So if we are strong bullish, just make sure you target 20 pips maximum, even 10 sometimes, depending with how your position sizing will be. 20 pips on average if you're trading against the trend. I think this is always mentioned in the group. All trades against the trend, aim for 10 to 20 pips. Then all trades going with the trend, we aim for 50 to 100 pips. So I think that will also help preserve capital and always cut your losses. That should also help. So C1, I would say, I know at some point it's going to abruptly sell. Okay, so what could potentially happen is I'm anticipating equal highs here. You say that they'll hit equal highs, then drop, or they'll extend the high a bit, then actually drop. So we shouldn't go too far away from C1, I think. As much as we're pushing up, price is showing signs of actually wanting to go down. So got a break of structure here. Yesterday we didn't get that close below the zone. You can see on H1 we didn't get that close, so price continued being bullish. So today, more or less the same thing. If price creates equal highs, what we're looking for now is for them to break this candle here. Once we break below the zone, I think that will be a safe sell. So if we create extend the high or equal highs here and we come below, then we're looking for something like this, potentially targeting today's lows, because we're still not yet sure whether it's a reversal or it's just a slight retracement for the continuation up. So it will still be a short-term trade, but if they continue pushing up, this zone will become invalid and we'll look for another zone and we just wait for them to break it, confirm with a retest, then we enter a sell. So that's it on C1000. C300, we looked at it briefly yesterday, and I remember we were anticipating it to come all the way up. And there's a time when I was talking about it with my other friend, we mentioned this zone. Even though we missed the trades, somehow we missed the trade. I think I was frustrated with C1 yesterday. I ended up missing out on this. So they came, tapped it, broke his zone, and it was a nice short-term trade. Then they started pushing bullish. So for today, daily looks like it's a minor retracements. So we had this strong push down, breaking structures. Then we've been having short-term higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low. So are we coming for this equal high? Potentially, that's possible. Are we going to respect this order block? Also possible. So are we going to potentially have equal highs here? Also possible, but this is on the daily, so this setup might take some time for it to actually play out. So let's watch how today's candle closes. At the in the meantime, it's actually bullish, so we don't have a setup until maybe we reach these highs or until we break this zone. So once we break these lows here, I'm still anticipating this drop. I think we mentioned this yesterday as well, that if we get a retracement, we're looking for a potential drop. So it's more or less the same drop we're anticipating, but we just need that confirmation. But if price continues to break up here, it'll be another setup forming, and we'll look at it in the next couple of days as we do this daily analysis. So that's it for C3. Let's just check H4 and see where we can potentially react. So I'm seeing an order block here. Okay, this is now invalid. This has been broken. So this is the current zone which I see, and this is also the current zone which I see. So let's see how price reacts around this area. If we can get a nameable candle and something showing us a reversal, we might start looking into sells. Then I will advise in the group. But for now, currently, we don't have anything. But at the same time, possible scalps can still happen to this bullish move here happening. But we'll see. So for now, nothing too solid on C3. So I don't want to put much resources into that one. C1 looks like it's rejecting the zone. So let's see. So if we get a break below 63.95, we are selling. Once we get a break and close below 63.95, we're going to sell, and we're going to target today's lows. Yeah, or the 200 EMA. So this is a short-term trade as well, targeting 63.65. So 20 to 30 pips on this particular trade will be the target. C 500s. Yesterday I remember we mentioned we want to see price get into this area. We want to see this liquidity get taken. Price has been sort of choppy in that area there, so let's see what they want to do. I'm still expecting the same thing for price to come up here, at least take our liquidity here before we get a potential sell. So I think that's a view I'll stick with. What else can I potentially do? Let's see. Okay, so if price comes below this area, Let's see how it will be looking like on M15. So all right. Let's see. Okay, so for me to actually sell without waiting for that liquidity grab at the top, I would love to see a very huge run to the bottom, then a potential retest of this zone. Then I'll sell. But otherwise, I still want to wait for price to get to the top there, and see what happens. They can potentially be bullish because looking at these candles, if you notice on the daily, we don't have much going on for the past few days from here. Actually, you can see this price action here. There's not much expansion within the daily range. It's just like spiky and choppy. So price can still get in here, but on the daily you can see that the zone we're using is actually this one. So you see it's demarcated from a smaller time frame here, but again, remember there's liquidity lying above this area. We also have the 50 EMA here, so we might actually get a huge expansion to the top side, and this zone might actually fail to hold the price. So C5, not really interested in it, but if I do see something intraday, I'll still advise in the group. Maybe if it's a high probability, we might consider taking it. So I'm also looking at this level, just looking at this chart. So we've got this last order block before this push up, which created the peak. So again, if I can get maybe a close below here, I might get a quick scalp just to this area, but we'll see. Not really want to put much capital behind this trade because at the moment it's still low probability. Going to B5, earlier you can see I marked the zone. When I came to the charts, I think price was somewhere here. So I looked at it, I was like, you know what, this price, knowing B5, I was like, price can potentially come for a third touch. Let me rather wait and not buy here. So if this continues up to this zone, it will be a miss. But again, knowing B5, they can still come for a third touch, then give us that push back up here. So if we get a third touch on this area, we are looking forward to take a buy and take profit on yesterday's highs. Yesterday's setup, I remember we had marked it for this area, but if you notice, they just extended that low, repainted the same pattern, then they actually pushed up again. So today, waiting for a possible third touch, then we'll see what happens. So here we also have a zone in case they just come again and decide to bounce off here. We'll also just be watching that area. So we have 2 points of interest, this top one and this second one. This is the M15 time frame. So if you open your M15, you'll be able to see that zone. Let me just draw it. So you can see this high here, which was broken. So price can still come retested, or they can come do the third touch. So it's the first, second, third touch somewhere here, or they can come and bounce off here and still push up to this area. But if they push up now, this setup we have here will be invalid. This will be invalid. I would advise though in the group what I'll be saying. So we'll just wait and see what happens with that one. B1000 yesterday, it ended up pushing from the zone, from the first zone we had. So we're waiting for it here, and we had a zone here waiting for it. So we said if they broke this, we would consider buys. So they pushed up from there. Today seems like they're now restricting this area, but I'm not really interested in buys yet. Let's see. Okay, so we are in a bullish momentum, and we could potentially be coming for this liquidity. So where can we potentially buy this? Price can retrace all the way to this area. That's possible looking at how that candle is looking. So let me just do this. Can get a huge retracement here. That's the daily on H4. That zone you can see it's on the bottom there. And near that zone, we've got this continuation pattern or supply or demand zone. So we can still retrace into this area, then push up. Excuse me. So I think it could be safe to wait for price there. Here you can see they sort of reacting onto this one. So if we have momentum in the markets, they'll actually respect this and they'll continue pushing up. But if price decides to give like a fair balanced move, then they'll give a nice retracement before continuing with the push up. So I'm hoping they give that nice retracement for us to be able to get into this trade. Let's see. Okay, this was the zone which was broken yesterday. I'm going to extend it. So you can see on the bottom here, we've got a lot of points of interests right from the 50 EMA. So I think it's safer to wait and see if price will come and respect any of these areas around the zone. That would be my setup for today on B1000. If they do bounce here, I don't have anything too clear for me to actually execute. So it could be a miss, but let's see. Maybe if they break the zone here, 14040, I might consider a scalp. If we break 14040, I might consider a scalp, but I would rather wait for price to come down, then start painting a bullish pattern. If it happens around here or here or here, that will be best. But for now, I don't have anything. I might consider this a break and close above that level. I might consider a short-term buy with just one position. So we'll see what happens with that one. J10 is being bullish. I'm not actively trading it yet. Let's see. Potentially coming up here. So we are bullish. 1, 2, 3. Couple of days bullish. Price isn't giving us a nice retracement yet, so we might get another retracement before the bullish move continues. So on the H4, I don't have anything clear to say I will buy from this area. So for now, I have nothing on J10. V250S, we're waiting for it on this zone we mentioned at the beginning of the session, this zone here. So I don't know. Let's see. Do you have any questions before we close this off? I saw you joined a bit late. If you have any questions, I can just unmute you there and you can ask. Any questions? Any questions? If there is no questions, it's all good. You can still ask on Telegram. That's still fine. So this video will be posted on YouTube. So if you're watching it on YouTube, kindly leave a comment, additions, subtractions. We open to constructive criticism. So let's all grow. Let's make 2024 the best year. So wishing you a very peaceful day ahead. Good trading.